everyone. This is Kathy Mason from Mason Works Marketing here on Conscious Business Zone with my friend, oh my gosh, I'm not going to say Reverend Dr. Amalia Wai-Ching Lee. Oh, Lee didn't fit. So I want everyone to know I got to meet Amalia in Colorado several times. We had a couple meals together, and then we had a showing where I collected a bunch of friends to come and see the first episode of Quantum Qi. And Amalia is your executive producer. Is that what your title? What is your title?
Associate producer.
Associate producer.
Yes, and our friend Sharon Rose is the executive producer.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Director.
I'll hear about that. But we had so much fun together. The energy is really amazing, and we're like little kids co-creating when we all get together, because there's a lot of joy and a lot of creativity and co-creation. So it's not. That's what you'll see today is the capacity for Amalia to help you co-create the better life and better business than you have right now. So Amalia, you speak French and English, and what other languages do you speak?
Oh, we start there. Okay, so I speak a bit of Malay.
Okay.
And Chinese. I speak a little bit of two dialects. Not Mandarin, because I'm what is considered Peranakan Chinese. So we never grew up learning the Chinese, the Mandarin that is taught in mainland China, and as as the main dialect, that unifies all the Chinese. So I speak a little of that. So I learned a smattering of everything, and I love being a linguist. I love studying languages, and here in Ecuador, I'm studying a bit of Spanish. Hola.
That's what I wondered. I wondered how were you doing that too? You're amazing.
Well, it's very much like what we're talking about. It's co-creation, and it's really connection and being connected to life, and everything in life, and even business, right? We're going to talk about that, but business is just exchange, isn't it? It's just exchange of energies and exchange of goodwill and exchange and agreement between people. And so it's very much that. And I love your term alchemist, business alchemist, which is what it is, because we are all alchemists, and we are just having fun putting it all in the cauldron and then seeing what we can co-create. And that is exciting, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And I think what the other part of this is there is an aspect that you bring that not very many people do, of divine beauty. You're not just bringing alchemy for alchemy. It's not Merlin alchemy. It's not the masculine. You're bringing the sacred feminine divine beauty into these co-creative aspects that creates an elegance and a flow that's very different than traditional business. Do you want to talk about anything about that? Does that sound good?
Oh, that sounds so good, Kathy. I'm like all mellow and oozy and soft now. Thank you for saying that. That's really sweet and kind, and it's all those qualities that are feminine, right? So we're bringing forth the divine feminine way of doing busyness. I call it busyness because we are all just like little hamsters doing. And this way of doing business or exchange is, I feel more comfortable with it, right? I mean, I've been trained a little bit in creating tasks and so on, but I feel more comfortable being still and really getting to feel in myself what I'm actually doing, what actually is coming through me to lead myself first. We talk about leadership is that I have to lead myself and know what I want in my life and what I wish to create and co-create first, and then flow into it, and then just relax. Okay, once we've created an intention in anything, in any project, or wherever we are going, in travels or to a store, once we know that, we can just relax into it. And I feel that is much more comfortable for me as a way of leading myself and as a way of leading others, and that it seems more flowing. I think that's why you have the perception of its elegance, as you call it, and it's more comfortable. And this is what I'm supporting other people, leaders, to do it. And over the years, it seems to work. It seems that the people I've been working with really, truly appreciate a shift of this kind of beingness and mentality, and of business acuity and acumen, to be much more settled in the leadership, and to be more settled and clear in the task orientation and completion of our work, rather than that frantic way of like creating timelines and Excel spreadsheets and tasks, So I hope that answered your question as to how it expresses itself. Oh, you're muted, Kathy. You're muted.
Thank you. I was typing. I didn't want to make sound. It expresses itself in my experience as flow. And this creativity and flow is birthing this new era that we're going into, where we are going into a time of cooperation and collaboration instead of business is war or life is war. And this whole shutdown has really had us see how different it is when you aren't in community, when you aren't able to co-create, and that I think there's a pent-up desire. But what I wanted to talk about, because you are a Qi Gong master, you have, and you're an energy healer, and so you bring energy and the knowledge of healing and creating flow. I think that's really the divine beauty, is the flow for me. Could you talk a little bit about that? Because I think that that's one of your special gifts, that you could support a lot of these amazing leaders into this new paradigm that we're going into.
Yes, I do have a motto. It's called "Glow with the Flow." So it somehow it came through, and then for me in meditation, and I just felt that it was so appropriate, because being in the flow, first of all, is being in the spiral of life and being in the infinite, and right in the center, where we can balance the dark and the light sides, the chaos that's whirling around us, much like a tornado. So if we can stay in the center and be still there, then we can actually bring the light, our divine light, into our bodies, our chalices, our temples. So we can just literally be glow, right? If we are able to embody the light, that is who we are truly. And we know that ourselves to be true as soul beings, that we are light. And if we can just be still enough to just embody that, we can also emanate that to the chaos of the world. And a lot of us light workers, we are really trying, and we are really embodying the new ways, the new paradigms, to really bring changes into the chaos that is in the external world right now.
Right.
And I speak of this as principles of Qi Gong: staying in the center line, balancing the yin yang, and working with whatever is there, and doing the Tai Chi. So when you do the Tai Chi, you're able to ward off whatever adverse reactions or responses or current affairs are coming into your field of consciousness, and we call it the warding off. And also we are able to then uh, evade, we are able to evade any of the oncoming forces. And then we do a sort of a soft flow of martial arts, which Tai Chi is, right? And so we are able to live and dance the Tai Chi. Dancing is also another metaphor which is very dear to me. So it's like being able to dance with life and with all the changes and the vagaries of life and oppression even. How are we going to dance with that? And so this is what we're talking about, is in these current times of the Kali Yuga and the shifts, in all the traditional cultures which have spoken of this changing times, this purification times. How are we going to navigate ourselves as leaders and followers as well into this realm?
Yes, I love the idea that we're teachers and students, and that's what we're talking about when we're leaders and followers. Is that every single being here has a gift, and they may not see it. And as a leader, a lot of times our job is to shine their reflection back to them, to so they
Mm-hmm.
can see their beauty, because we're going to this is a huge opportunity for people to wake up to their divinity. And that's why I love what you do. I think you are a star in the sky. You are.
Well, we're all stars. We came from the stars, right? Let's
I,
start that.
I know, but the
Mhm.
way that you work with people and bring them the opportunity to see clearly, more clearly, without fear, and with a eye for possibilities. That's what I love about you, and fun. That was the other part. It's like, let's have some fun.
Yeah,
Everything's so serious.
I know we have to. And you know, one very key word about the leadership is inspiration. And I love that word because when we inspire ourselves, we bring in new life, right? That's part of the Qigong practice. And if we can inspire others rather than, being autocratic, we can
Right,
inspire them to be leaders too, because that's what leaders are. Leaders are not here to serve ourselves and what we want. Leaders are here to serve others in the
right,
greater good.
of
So
course.
leaders are really servants, but so many leaders have forgotten that, right? And so we have to be in service, and we can be in service with fun.
Well, the other thing that I'd love for you to talk about, because you haven't really, I'd love for you to talk about the healings that you do, and also the space clearings. The healings for people that are going through these energy changes. Some people have been talking about ascension flu, where their body is being upgraded with this photonic
Mhm.
light, but their body's resisting it, or they're struggling with uh, energy blocks in parts of their body. Do you want to talk a little bit? Because and we didn't really go deep into this, but Amalia is from a family, multi-generational family of healers, and some of her ancestors have been the primary healers for the monarchs, for royalty. In
Yes,
right,
and I'm very blessed to be coming from that bloodline, which I didn't really know about until I had my awakening in 1990. I know I was just being me, and then it was only at the passing of my mother, the funeral of my mother, that an aunt came and said and asked me what I was doing, and I told her, and she went like, "Oh, just like your great-grandfather. So I literally grabbed her and I said, tell me, what do you mean, you know? And then she said, oh, didn't you know your great-grandfather was the Chinese physician to the Sultan of Selangor? I went like, no. And it was like, whoa, I had to sit down. I said, wait a minute, it's in the bloodline. So it really took me to studying about bloodlines and giftings, and it took me deeper into the healing aspects of past lives even, and ancestral giftings. And I've actually traced it back to 2000 years. And not necessarily, yeah, I'm writing about it, and, hopefully, who knows, it might become a script. And so many people have encouraged me, and it didn't show up just only in my mind. Okay, it showed up in this third dimensional reality. And also my family members have shades of it, nuances of it, but it comes back to our choices, right? Choices. Do we go follow it even though it's strange, it's weird, it doesn't make sense, but we have to make some sense of it, which is what's leading me to what you're saying about resistance. Some people are feeling the resistance in its bodies with the photon belt and the solar flares, and it's because they are not stopping to be still, right? Again, we go back to the stillness of the soul to really feel and ascertain and really get the messages from the divine. What is really coming through? It is so beautiful that if we can just stop for a while, the images that come, the colors that come, even the discomfort that arise from our bodies that we are experiencing, if we can integrate all this in so many different ways. And I'm just sharing with people what has worked for me, what has helped, from massages to eating more lightly, to eating warm foods. Let's say, according to my body type, I do something called Applied Kinesiology to help others ascertain what foods are suitable for them at that time, at this time. We change. Sometimes we want a little, excuse me for saying this, some meat, some animal products, and sometimes we just want to be super light and just fast for 3 days, and or even up to 10 days. But what is right for us now, it may not be right for us last week or in a month. So we are changing beings, we are evolving beings, and we are evolving in different ways. And if we can just listen to ourselves, our bodies, and the divine coming through our own souls, then we are able to adjust. We are able to be flexible. And so, likewise, with the Qi Gong I teach, it's all about the flexibility of the spine and movement, and really moving the cerebrospinal fluids up to the brain. And then we can open up the body and receive the light. Again, the light that is streaming forth, both, almost stratospherically, as well as on from an esoteric point of view, from the Council of Light, right? If you want to call the different light beings and deities who are here to guide us in our evolution, then we can receive those messages and know then this is the way that we have to evolve. And some of it is rather interestingly strange, like move to a different country, eat a different food, buy a different something, right? Or just be still, or take up a different sport, take up martial arts. Because right now the energy is super strong, and we have to adjust our matrix, our body, the liquid light matrix in our body, known as the meridians or the nadis, to be purified. So we have to be purifying whatever is holding us back, whether it's this lifetime, any trauma, any kind of browses and conflicts. It's time to clear all that. Just let it all go. And then we can soar, we can fly like angels, then we can reformat, right? And download a new sense of self and a new programming. And then this will really show up on the cellular level. And we can then evolve. So this is what I'm helping people do on an everyday level and in businesses as well. I mean, look at businesses. We have to change our concept of what a business is. Shops close now just because there's some interesting pandemics, and so then we have to go online. I've spent more time online than I've ever have. It's amazing, like what we do now. So we have to thank the new future matrix also. This is all here, but we have also um, ways of balancing everything. So balance is the key word, right? And if you allow me to just continue a little bit more, is that the radiation that's coming off from the computers, we know what that does, and we know what it does from the phones. It's not healthy. It's not. It's negative. It's treating us very badly in our matrix that is natural. But we have ways that we can help, and there are many companies out there that are making these products. Now, 15 years ago, when I started talking about this, when I was testing myself with Applied Kinesiology with different products, and then shockingly finding out that radiation from the phone and computers was really contracting my chi body. And I found that there were products that can help balance. So there are anti-radiation devices that really is supportive. At the moment, I'm wearing this that supports my thyroid, and it is what is known as an ETAG. So it is an EMF and earthing tag, and I have the card here as well. And I'm at the present moment, I worked with a lot of companies, a lot of scientists and doctors. And at the moment, I'm on the advisory board of this company that's called Nature's Frequencies. And I'm not just supporting this company, but any company that anyone would want to um, research and use whatever is right for you. Applied Kinesiology, I'm very happy to offer the 15 minutes complimentary consultation to see which of these products are actually good for you, right? So we want to hone in into the right product, substance, food that is right for that particular person. And I've been able to do that, thankfully. And I find that this is what suits me now. It has 6 USA patents, and it has high frequency to balance off the 5G. So it's already there in the market, thank goodness. So please, anyone and everyone here, go research this and do what you can. And actually, in my private moments, I actually wear this as well. It's a negative ions hat, and negative ions bring nature into the body 85% more than just going out to nature, which is 15% in the body. So in my private moments, I actually wear this. It looks. I'm feeling Kathy now, so we have fun. I don't care if we are live.
This week when I talked with her, she had that on and something else we won't even talk about.
It was tinfoil. I was just trying it out.
I wasn't going to tell on you.
Oh my God, the Wi-Fi is what do you call it? Fiber optic, and it was so fast. I was getting dizzy, right, Kathy? I told you I was getting dizzy and even nauseous, and I was like muscle testing everything. What was it? And it was the Wi-Fi. So I thought, okay, I've heard about this. People putting tinfoil, and so I tried it, and it worked. My goodness. And so I put the tinfoil, now I'm just really into tinfoil and the negative ions fabrics and my scarves. I was wearing fully the socks, the underwear, everything, my suit. So I'd say now that I know why the sci-fi movies, right? Everybody's in silver and yeah, like that style anyway, so it was good. And then I took a lot more supplementation and again, adjusting. We have to adjust. We have to be flexible. We have to be like the bamboo and bend. And I think leadership also has to adjust. Now, look, people are revolting. People are revolting against autocratic, dysfunctional leadership. And eventually that's going to happen more and more. If they don't wake up to their humanity, this is what's going to happen. The corruption is going to be erupting. Yeah,
Right.
corruption is going to eruption, and it's going to be revealed to everybody, and people will not stand for it, and we should not, and
Right.
leadership means, that we have to be courageous, and the word courageous comes from the word cœur, heart.
Heart.
Yeah, so it's heartful. We have to be heartful and think about our fellow kindred spirits, on the planet Earth, and also Mother Earth. We have to really wake up to who we are, connected in the web of life, and every single person. And I celebrate these times, Kathy. People
Yeah.
are afraid, but I tell them, don't be, celebrate it. Bring it up, even in yourself, all the shadows within yourself. Come on, just bring it up, be honest, and
Right.
then that will bring in the light. That will illuminate us. When we
Right.
can absorb our own shadows, and then others can illuminate themselves. And it's a time of celebration, really. And I don't know about ascension because I'm still here. And I'm supposed to come back. But I'm here. I'm fully here. I accept that. I'm not planning to be anywhere. I want to stay on this beautiful planet, this spaceship, as long as possible, and to help it out, help her out, help me out, help everybody out, as and just do as many complete as many bodhisattva vows as possible, and just enjoy it at the same time. And by enjoying, by living our lives to the fullest, we bring the joy in, don't we? And we emanate.
Exactly. When you this path that you're talking about is self-love, and it is giving yourself the gift of you without all the programming and the paradigms that don't serve you anymore. So you may have had some, I don't want to call them programs, but you may have had some karmic intentions when you first came in, but those contracts and agreements can be released now, and you can hold a lot of light. And you can see from Mama Leah, she's holding a lot of light. And
Well,
that
you use a very important word, Kathy, karma, karmic. This is a lot of the work that I'm doing with relationships now, and a lot of narcissistic relationships that are being revealed, as we know, and then also narcissistic leadership, right? So it's karmic, and that's what I realized, is that we have the opportunity to clear it. And karmic is a big word, and it's obtuse, but we can also bring it back to the present moment, about how we feel and how life is showing up in front of us, and how we can release it. And through the breath work is really key, and through the intention, the eating, and through the release. And there are simple techniques now, which I'm so happy to share and teach. And people all over the world are doing that. And however it is, if anybody needs help, it's always available. The support is here right now. All the embodied angels are here, and to support everyone, and to bring light into the planet. And so some of them more courageous than others, and stepping up. And so, yes, the karmic clearing, whether it's ancestral or timeline. And also, you mentioned space clearing, Kathy. We don't realize that we, as embodied beings, reincarnated many times, perhaps for some of us, we have been to various places, and we are leaving residue of ourselves, or the consciousness, let's say, of a battlefield, and in a location, right? And we go into speaking about space clearing, which you brought up earlier, that we need to also clear wherever we go to that environment. Some people, when they travel, they arrive at a place and they feel really well in that place. And sometimes some people get sick. And so that has a lot of different factors in it. But we can also look at that factor of energies that have been placed in the space. And this is what I do with in terms of businesses. clearing spaces such as hospitals where there's a lot of suffering and pain, and clinics, as well as buildings that have been built over areas where there were battlefields, or there was trauma or death, and maybe a cemetery. So these energies have been overlaid over time, and they need to be cleared. And certain of us have the gifts. And the gift that I have comes from the family. As I said, I used to follow my grandmother around with a terracotta, um, like a plate of with a handle with charcoal and frankincense, and I used to go around the house with her. So my training started quite early, and then we had stories of different kinds of stories, like accidents happening in the crossroads of certain roads, because there were so many accidents, and there were entities, the souls that were still there, not being able to move on. So from 16 years old, I found out that I actually had the gift. With my mom and my aunt, when we traveled, we went into a room in a hotel, and we felt like crying, and we requested for a change of room, but not until I said a prayer. I don't know how. I just like sent light there to bless the. It was a woman who was there, and to release her back to the light. And so that began that story of how I do space clearing and blessing, and it went on to me being a flight attendant, and I was clearing hotels rooms, because I was traveling all over the world, and even people knew about that gift that I had. I didn't remember that at all, but they still bring it up. And so over time, I found I had that gift, and I can't believe that this is actually what I do now as part of my business, my Earth Heart or Earth Star Holistic Consultancy, where people actually call me to clear their offices, clear their spas. And there was one spa which was always cold, and the manager couldn't understand why people weren't coming. And then we cleared it, and it was actually a battlefield. It was in Morocco. And then there was another one that had very low business, but after we cleared it, there was a robbery there, and placed a crystal to bring in the light and to create the amplification. I don't use so much crystals now, occasionally for decorative reasons, but I use this to amplify and to ground the energies. So the business is increased. And so even hotels where there were the rooms, let's say, you have a lot of people coming in and out, and there's sometimes negative things that happen in those rooms. So I go in, clear the rooms, and as well as to train the staff on how to clear it. And if you sometimes go to a hotel room, sometimes you may not be very comfortable and may not be able to sleep. And some people have insomnia. So I teach people on how to do that. It could be the radiation, it could be an entity, but we can learn how to identify it. Besides that, I work with real estate agents on how to clear the energies and create a more aesthetic setting to either uh, facilitate a purchase or a sale, right? So that can be done. And, we've helped someone. You have experienced it yourself personally, Kathy, in one location where you felt uncomfortable, and I had to go in there. Yes, you had a personal experience, and I cleared it, and it sold within a week, even though it was on the market for several months before. And so I keep the confidentiality of all my clients. So no mention of names at all, especially the pretty well-known ones. So I've done quite a lot, like in the old homes and houses, the black and white houses in Singapore. And I particularly enjoy actually chatting with those spirits. They have a lot of stories to tell. I mean, like one time in the, yeah, they're just beings in different dimensions, and some of them are pretty sad, and some just want to stay here. They're not ready to go, and sometimes we can call on the the rest who have gone. Maybe they have a message for their loved ones, so that truly there's nothing to be afraid of. I have to tell you the story. I mean, like, it's always so comfortable being with you, that when I was little, I think I was about 11 years old, and I used to take the children in the neighborhood through the cemetery late at night, carrying lanterns. Yes, lanterns during the Mid-Autumn Lantern Festival. So we were out, the parents are they're having their beers and their food, and then the kids are out there playing, lighting up our candles and carrying the lanterns all through the neighborhood. And that's kind of leader I am, fearless leader. Oh no, if only the parents would know what they did with the children. We went through the town, and then we went through the cemetery. And it was like so amazing. I still remember that feeling of like all this innocence and the light of the children coming through the cemetery. And I remember the light shining on the tombstones. And to me, it was like almost a flash of a memory, like the dark and the light, like in a moment there, I understood what life was about, life and death. I don't know. It was just that. I mean, I'm almost like tearing just thinking of it. And so, I suppose the leadership qualities were developed early. And in school too, it was developed pretty early. I was a monitor, prefect, always a little bit like, let's do the right thing here, wear the skirt at the right line, the nails and everybody has to be on time, so that started then. It eased up very much later. So anyway, that's my interweaving in of the story of both space clearing and being a leader for you. So now I
well, I have heard lots of stories of people doing dowsing for manufacturing companies, tea manufacturer, all sorts of other manufacturing companies, where they went in and cleared, and all of a sudden there were less injuries, there was less absenteeism, there was a better productivity. I mean, it's amazing. Energy even though it is unseen, it can affect everything. It's because
everything.
we are.
Yes, let me tell you another story. I love this one.
Okay.
So it
Okay.
was a 1.5 million square feet facility in Singapore, and I was asked to clear it, and they couldn't sign off because there were arguments. There were um, people who were being hurt, people falling off the scaffolding. There was chemical toxicity, leakages. The elevator didn't work. The a lot of discord, and the project manager asked me to come in. And now this project manager was Caucasian, and his wife thought that he would not understand this, because in the first place, she asked me to go clear her house, and we used to dance together. And she asked me whether I knew someone who could do this, and I was wondering over the phone. I said, "Why are you calling me then? I thought you knew I do this." He says, "No, I thought you would be someone who would know somebody else." And I went like, "No, I do that." And then she said, "Oh, would you come and please do it?" And so, she was pregnant, and her children couldn't sleep, and so I went, and indeed there was the death of two parents and a child there before, and they were just asking for help. They were just asking for help to be released. And so I did that, with love and compassion. And then everything was fine. And then she invited me for dinner, because I always guarantee, and I would come back twice for the work. And so her husband was asked if he would take me home after the dinner, and then on the way there he said, "Did you do anything to my home?" And I went like, "Oops, I'm not supposed to say anything about it," because she said, "Please don't tell my husband, he wouldn't understand, and please don't tell him that I paid you." And then so I said, "Okay, I'm doing it as a friend." And and I said yes, and I showed him my professional brochure, and he said, "Well, I have this project and it's not going well. Can you come tomorrow?" And I said, "Okay, I have to, because I'm going off to Bali and doing a master healer program in one of the spas." and I won't be here. And then so I went the next day, brought flowers and salt and holy water, and gathered the team, started from where his desk was. In corporate work, I always start at the desk of the person who hires me, because of that alignment, and we have to make sure we are all in alignment, including the team. So he brought the team as well. And one of the team members, I said, you can do this while I'm gone. So we went through the place and blessing it, to make a long story short. And it was all cleared and they signed off. It was a 1.5 million square feet facility, making chips for the telephone, very well-known brand. Of course, I would say it. And everything was cleared. And he sent the money to me. And actually, we sometimes charge like a dollar a square foot, but it was 1.5 million square feet. I could have been very wealthy. But we came to a price, and I won't reveal the price, but it was enough for me to really take care of myself. And that was a huge blessing. And the work continues to be a blessing for all concerned. So that project was like multi-million-dollar, I don't know, $1 billion or something. And it was just a drop in the bucket, and everything got cleared. So yes, I corroborate with your story about other people.
Well,
Please.
please share that the elevator that didn't work before worked after you cleared.
Yes.
Could you share a little, because that's fascinating, that physical functional matter was changed by the energy.
Oh yes, just the same as the body. When I work with energy with human beings, people change. And there's a woman, a socialite, who would have me come and work with her every time she has a special event, because she looked slimmer and she was glowing. And she would lose like an inch or whatever centimeters from her waistline right after. Right after. And so because we balance the hormones, and people look different after the work. So the physicality, it goes all the way through its embodiment, from the light. And this is known as the milagros, the miracles, right? In miracle healings, people walk when they could not walk before. Tumors are gone, right? We've all had that experiences, and myself too, in the healing work. So it depends on the variables, right? But this one, yes, the elevator worked. And let's see, there are quite a few instances, if I remember, that on a physical level, things change, and you can see it. You can see it and feel it as people walk in. The objects, like I clear antiques as well. So people have seen, oh my goodness, that looks lighter. That mask, for example, or that statue looks lighter now. So it's cool, and functionality as well. Yes, there are many stories. Sometimes I should write about them, right?
You really should, because you have physical proof. The work that you do on people to help them heal, and then also on their space or their possessions, can really make the difference in the flow of energy that comes to them, which is their vital life force. And we're in these times of change that you have to be able to think quickly. You have to be able, you can't hold on to the old. The old is going to
instant karma. You have to clear it, learn the techniques and do it. And also ancient ruins, that many people like myself, we are called to ancient ruins. So I'm called here right now. I'm on the thread of ancient ruins here. It's so wonderful. And while it's also beautiful to tune in to the beauty of the traditions, there were a lot of blood and gore and pain and suffering, and sacrifices. So we're clearing that in our light work as well. And yes, we have to really think on our feet, and in changing leadership patterns. And those of us who are doing this work, and any one of us can do this just with the thought. That's why we have to be careful what we think and emanate out into the world, is that if we see any place in the world that is in distress, right, or anyone, or where there's war is part of being on this plane, unfortunately. but we keep trying to clear it, then we have to send our light there. And it is conscious work for me. We talk about conscious words, conscious work, that in our time of stillness and prayer, we need time for ourselves and we need time for others. And there's a time and place for everything, that we are powerful beings, each one of us, to act on the insights and the light that is shining, and then we can shine it on areas where we have a war, for example. And I feel what is really necessary now is to pray for truth to be revealed, and the deception to be revealed. And war is all is created, right?
Right.
It's
Right.
manufactured for
Yes.
profit, for money. Now we know that. And before we thought, well, we knew that anyway, when we talked about competition, where people would grasp and with lands and territories, it's all out of fear. Now it's the time to move into love. How do we move global leadership into love?
I
Does
don't,
it take?
that's what we're doing right now. And part of, I want to make sure that people know that you are very involved in healing our earth, that that site, and other international organizations and projects that help people work together as teams so that we can learn to work. I mean, I love the idea of us being exopolitics, us working with extraterrestrials, but we need to work with everyone here.
Yes,
and
everyone. And
and
yes, I would also like to signal the organization World Council for Health. And there's an organization that is doing immense work, and there are many medical doctors and lawyers coming together to make changes in the legal system and the healthcare system. And one such event, if I may just offer, is a Better Way that's coming up. It's in Bath physically, and also it's online, and I'll be on the third day speaking about innovation and integration and meditation. Innovate and integrate and meditate. Okay, so we can do all that. And a lot of people are coming together. There's a groundswell of good kindred spirits, good souls, and we are making changes. So don't lose heart, okay, everyone. Just know that there are people, and join in this legions of light to make a difference in the world. It's now time to weave in the new matrix of realities, and that's based more on the heart and connections with human beings and honoring life force. So just join us all, and everyone's welcome to connect with me and ask for links for these ones. And there's an angelic summit coming up on the May 21st. This Better Ways May 22nd, and Healing Our Earth is every Sunday. And of course, I'm also on other different programs, like with Kathy, with Humanity Unplugged, and we are working very, very powerfully. And in Singapore, there's Healing the Divide, that's led by this Joan of Arc, Iris Co. And we're belonging to a lot of different medical groups that have revealed a lot of adverse effects. And then we are also creating new ways of healthcare based on energy medicine, because that is the first step. That once we can clear it, like I work a lot in cancer, but I work with emotions first. We clear the emotions first, and people start to heal, right? And how soon they start to heal or not, it just depends on their soul matrix. But they start to heal, at least they are resolved in their emotional body before they transit to another life, another dimension, and that's absolutely appropriate. There's no fear in that. And of course, Kathy, that I'm doing work with the consciousness of cancer, it came from my own path, as you know, that everything comes from my own path, that I could have had cancer in 1990, and that was my awakening when all these energies came through. And that led me to go to seek out different ways, and and meditation, and hearing that the voice that told me that I would learn love through cancer if I didn't change. And it was like, what? And so, and also, this talk about businesses and creating my businesses, it was the same voice who told me when I was wondering whether I was going to be a Buddhist nun or a Catholic nun or dependent nun, some kind of nun, to go into the mountains because I was just feeling so illuminated. And then the voice told me that I had to come down to earth, descend from the mountain, and bring spirituality as a business into business. Now
Perfect.
you can imagine I almost fell off my meditation cushion. Like, what? I know nothing about business, even though Dad was a businessman. He wasn't that good a businessman, I would say, because he was not corrupt at all. And that's why we're trying to change the perception of what business is as well, And so anyway, that led me to seek out businesses, spiritual based businesses. And I went with California Institute of Integral Studies to China with a group of business consultants. Yeah, so this is how it all started with Professor Yu Ming Kang, and he was marvelous, and he gathered the consultants. And he chose everyone with different gifts, and I was chosen as a Qi Gong practitioner. And I found that I was able to actually intervene into a conflict with Qigong principles and telling people to stop and just be still and meditate. And people came back to their hearts and was able to communicate better with more equanimity and more openness. And so this is what I'm using with CEOs and conflict resolutions. If people are willing to come together, of course, it's not always easy. It doesn't always work when people are resistant. So we went back to what Kathy was talking about, the resistance. When people are resisting, they don't want new information. They don't want new ways of being, and they want to stick to their ways. That's when we are rigidified, right? We become really hard and firm in our thinking, in our beingness, and we won't grow. And we see that in disease, and people become inflexible in their joints as well. So we have to go and explore, investigate. I think I'm much more like an investigative healer. Investigate and support people in their life journeys in that covers the whole spectrum, the whole soul spectrum, and see where they can evolve much better, more with grace and ease, as they said. So and that is like an intertwining. That's how we are, right? And how I became to be a business consultant.
Well, business is made up of relationships, and the relationship you're talking about, several of them. One with yourself first, where you give yourself the gift of loving yourself and taking better care of yourself, and healing whatever. Where no one here on this planet is totally enlightened, or else we wouldn't be here. We would be out of physical. So there's plenty of work to do. And then after we clear ourselves, then there's all these other people that we can be in divine relationship with. And the servant leader is one of the steps to that. But the reason I was so excited that you said yes for this conversation is I see you as a fantastic resource to help others take better care of themselves, be guided to clearing obstacles that may keep them from their soul mission, and for them to keep out of fear. I think you can either be excited about change or fearful about change. I like change. I ran a Arthur Anderson called Change Enablement. I
Mhm.
if it stays the same, I probably like to tinker with it and make it better. So what we're talking about is the opportunity to get guidance, spiritual and energetic guidance that'll affect your body, mind, and spirit from Amalia, and she's in Ecuador. She can use Zoom with you, and you can have a lot of experiences. You can go to her website and experience her energy and see the beauty of what she's doing. It is divinely beautiful. It is. So for everyone that wants to connect with you, I've been putting the banner up for your website. Is that the best way to reach you?
I think so. The website, yes, and email, WhatsApp. I'm quite open. You know, it's like I have nothing. Everything goes through me and back. I'm an open book. It's perfectly fine. And yeah, and I offer also a 15-minute conversation, just an assessment. Sometimes it really turns out to be very cogent, and I channel in the information. And for people who just want a little snippet, and otherwise they could do sessions and whole sessions. I have clients who I've been working with for 18 years, and so and more actually, and so intermittently, and so whatever works for that person is fine. I'm just here in service, and as long as people come and respectful and not resistant, really, because when you step up to receive, and I want to say too, it's like people like us, when we need support, it's also important, right, Kathy?
Right, of
When
course.
we need support, that we ask for it, and that's a give and take. That's the balance in life.
Yes.
And I think that's the dance. It's a beautiful dance that we have together, and we
Well,
can play with all the different rhythms of life.
Well, I want to make sure everyone realizes what a gift you are and what a resource your work could be in their lives, and that with the 15-minute free opportunity, what do you have to lose, really? So,
And you know that even with that offering, not people take it.
I understand.
But it's absolutely fine, because that means the resonance is not in alignment with the work. I don't really market my work, and it's like now with the help of people like you, I'm coming out more, and I feel that if it's not right, it's not right. Really, truly,
Right,
and I don't grasp for it. If it's right, my God, it's magic. It's
right,
absolute magic, right? We know that. And I there's some people that I actually have told them that it is possibly not the right work I
right,
have,
right,
because I read into them and what their ulterior motives are, and I would actually refer them to somebody else,
right,
or
right,
who else might be better for them. The same as with medical doctors working in integrated medicine, that if someone needs a test, I would do that. Whatever is best for that person. And
right,
sometimes it's not the right time to say what needs to be said, right? Discernment is required. And so whatever is right for that person. So I'm just saying, there's no judgment. If people who don't want to, it's perfectly fine with me. It'll be the right thing in the right time.
right.
It's my
But the people that are watching this and will watch the replay, that it is the right time for, please take advantage of this generosity. And we, I just want to remind everyone that you are more powerful than you ever could know. And this is an opportunity for you to clear any obscurations in your field so that you can hold more light, because we really, really, really want to play with you.
Oh, Kathy, that is so sweet. That's so
Right.
sweet to everybody. And also for people, some people are really private. That's just healing request on the website. People can just write it, and I will look at it. And every day I put this time aside to pray for everybody. And pray is a nice romantic word, but it's intentionalized, and it does work, as we know in quantum field
Yes.
medicine, that it does work. And that's why I call Infinity Quantum Qi Gong the Qi Gong. And so It's perfectly fine any other way. Just know that everybody, you are fine the way you are, and just keep refining yourself and enjoying that, right? Just keep celebrating life, that this lifetime of this planet is a gift, and that you just have to discover more gifts and more joy. And so many people who've gone through trauma have to rediscover that. And it is possible to find your own light, to know your own light, and to emanate your own light into the planet. The planet needs you, and humanity needs your light. So,
Exactly. Thank you so much. Thank you. So once again, you want to go to Amalia Wai-Ching Lee .earth and I'll have it everywhere so that you can just click on a link because it's long. So thank you. I
thank
can't
you,
wait to
Dorothy.
giggle with you more. Thank you.